Welcome to the latest Orion Private Wealth Management newsletter. Since the last video update, I've been attending a number of briefing sessions exploring the implications of the super reform legislation that passed through the Parliament in late November last year. This is by far the most significant legislative change for superannuation in a decade. The Simple Super, which was introduced in 2006, was far less complex and required far less strategy planning than the legislative reform that is going to take effect on 1 July. Although the government has forecast that only 2% of the population will be impacted, I think this is an underestimate. The 2% I believe is in relation to the number of people who will be negatively impacted by increasing the tax burden that they'll have to pay through superannuation, or significant adjustments that they'll have to make in order to rebalance their superannuation in order to comply with the legislative requirements. Therever, there are a number of downstream impacts for the legislation that is going to take effect in July, and I think that there'll be far greater number of people who will be impacted as a consequence. So very shortly, if you are going to be impacted, you'll be contacted by me to discuss the strategies that you need to be considering and what implementation needs to occur prior to the 1st of July. Also, there'll be a number of resources that I'll be placing on the website. These are now starting to be provided by the technical departments of many companies, and many have been drafted in a very client-friendly manner, and they will be an important resource for you to review pre and post our appointments, which will help give greater context and explanation to what needs to occur. Also, one of the elements that has not been considered, I think, by many people is the estate planning impact that some of these legislative changes may bring. And in the next video update, I'll be accompanied by Martin Craig from MJHC Legal, and we'll be discussing some of the estate planning considerations that you may need to be aware of. From a market perspective, the most significant event in the last fortnight has been the US raising of interest rates. This was very much expected, as it had been telegraphed well in advance by the Chairman of the Federal Reserve, and the interest rate increase was explained as being introduced because of increasing confidence in the US economy and strengthening of the US economy. This has been a positive because it shows that the US economy is self-sustaining, and the quantitative easing that has been prevalent for so many years is certainly able to be wound back. However, for many analysts, this is going to cause some consternation as to the rebalancing of the bond market, which has been operating in a rather irrational way for a number of years because of the continuing lowering of interest rates. Also, there will be quite likely an impact on Australian interest rates and currency, and also a downstream impact will be that of property prices. And Roger Montgomery wrote an interesting article in the Australian on the weekend where he is forecasting that this is the start of the correction that he's been forecasting in the Australian residential property market. Finally, more on a social note, this weekend I'll be participating in the annual Relay for Life in Hawthorn. For those of you who have supported me in the past, thank you very much. The Relay for Life is an event that goes from Saturday afternoon through to Sunday morning, and is a national-wide event conducted by the Cancer Council, and aims to raise funds to assist those battling cancer, and also to fund research to hopefully one day beat cancer totally. Unfortunately, many clients do suffer from cancer, and my experience is that from a trauma claim perspective, it's certainly the most prevalent claim, and statistics would show that approximately 66% of all trauma claims or critical illness claims are paid out as a consequence of an event linked to cancer. I look forward to the next update in a fortnight. Thank you.